Hi, welcome to the Tie Chest. My name is Lynn, and today we're looking at Swank initial jewelry. More specifically, we're going to look at the evolution and how to date some of the Swank initial jewelry that you may find. So let's dive right in. Let's start with 1935. Here is a Swank cravat chain. Tie chains were very popular in the 30s. So you see this, the initials are very kind of small. It's very simple design. And from what I understand, you were able to customize the initials if you were buying it. So this person customized them to CEI. 1936, we have block initials. So notice that the letters are a little square, more bold, more chunky compared to the ones in 1935, which are a little slimmer, more elegant. You also have kind of a square frame with two extra bars on the bottom. Moving on, 1938, this was called the modern initial. So same type of initial, except the difference, you'll notice the letters are a little more italicized. See, these are more square. And there's no extra little bars on the bottom. This is just a fairly simple design with slanted letters. 1939, we have the duogram initial. So this is very easy to spot. You have the diamond shape frame here with the funky letters. So very interesting, very neat. Here's another one from 1939. I haven't been able to find a name for this design, but it's very similar with the slanted italicized letters. The only difference is you have those three little notches on the top and bottom. 1940, here are the unigram initials. So again, very chunky letters, square, with a square frame. Now notice there is a single bar on the bottom and not the two bars like we saw earlier. Moving on in the 40s, 41 to 1945, these are the Aristogram initials. Notice again the chunky letters, square, and a very simple square frame. This is during World War II, so things were very simple and not very ornate. 1946, the Aristogram again, but this time it has changed a little bit. So see if you notice the difference. The lettering is much, much slimmer. We still have that same simple frame, but the letters are a lot skinnier. 1948, here's the Ultragram, and it was advertised as the newest design with bold look. And if you look at the ads from the late 40s, it's all about this bold look. Things are getting chunky, things are getting big. So here's a really nice example of a tie bar from Swank with these big, bold initials called the Ultragram. Again in 1948, this is a neat design that I have not been able to identify. If ever you know some of these things that I couldn't find, I would really appreciate it if you put them in the comments below. I'd love to learn. So this is a really cool design with the slanted letters. Now here we're getting away from those square chunky letters. They're still chunky, but we've got this this fun little slant to it. Notice that in the cufflinks, and also notice that in the tie bar, which also has that pierced look, which is just coming into fashion, and it is all the rage in the late 40s, early 50s. I also want to draw your attention to the toggle style here, because it's going to come back a little bit later. Remember that Swank toggles here were kind of square until 1955, where they became more of a bullet shape. In 1949, another version of the Aristogram, but now we have the rounded frame, more of an oval shape. Still the same square letters though. 1952, here are the Neogram initials. They were advertised as blocked letters on a black background. So we're still having the chunky letters, but we're bringing in that black background to make those letters pop even more. A few years later, 1954, we have the Surrey Initials, which is a really fun, again, very easy to spot. The letters are put into a circle and divided in half. And this, I really like this example because it's the actual original gift box with the Surrey ribbon across. I think it's really neat. And I want to also draw your attention to the beginning of the dual metal look. So coupling the silver with the gold. 1954, here are the Windsor Initials. Now these are big. These cufflinks are very big. Um, these have these kind of very fancy script initials, fit for a king, which is maybe why they're called Windsor. I don't know. 1955, these are the Black Knight Initials. Notice that we are starting to see some silver pieces. Earlier in the decade, the emphasis was on gold-colored cufflinks, tie bars, and the like. And now, as we progress, we're going to see more silver jewelry. It's not sterling silver, it's more silver color, silver finish. A lot of it was rhodium plated, could be other things too. 1955, again, we have the Surrey Initial, which is more of an elongated initial with kind of a textured background to it and more of a brassy look to the initial itself. The frame is gold tone, but the initial itself is more of a brass tone. Again, in 1955, this is the Cavalier Initial. So again, drawing your attention to the silver color and the black background, which makes that initial pop. Again, 1955, this is a Lancer Initial. This is probably my favorite initial design that Swank has. I really like kind of the shadow box style around the initial, and I like the open work that allows you to see the sleeve color, the cuff color behind with the holes here. I really like that. 1957, we have the Ambassador Initial, and quite a few things going on here. Notice, like I was mentioning before, the back toggle is more of a bullet shape, so we're post 1955. Also notice the dual metal, so we've got the silver with the gold. And also, I want to draw your attention to the finish. This is more of a brushed finish, something you don't see quite that often earlier in the decade. It's a little more later. Again, in 1957, this is called the Illusion Initial. So we've got some silver going on, we've got the bullet toggle, and we have kind of this illusion, this open work illusion that kind of makes the initial looks like it's floating on your sleeve or on your cuff, on your tie. And it's a brushed finish as well. It's not as shiny as the ones earlier. Here's one from 1959. Again, I wasn't able to pinpoint this to a specific name, but I think it has one. It was advertised as a sterling silver initial on golden tones. So again, the pairing of the gold and the silver. 1960, this was called the Golden Script Initial, and it is exactly what it says. It's a golden script, and this is actually a real shadow box style. It's a little bit hollow behind that initial, and then you have the prominence of the silver over the gold, and you have that dual metal look again, 1960. And then finally another one in 1960. This was called the Embassy Initial. So everything we've talked about, we have the silver and the black, and you have the script initial. So those are the ones I was able to identify, and the next ones I'm going to present are sort of mysteries, the ones I don't have a name to, but we're going to put our heads together and see if we can pinpoint some kind of a date to the following piece of initial jewelry with what we already know. So let's go. Here is a J initial. Now what we notice right away, toggle tells me post 1955. We have the dual metal look. We have the gold with the silver, and we have this kind of brushed finish. So late 50s, early 60s would be my guess on this initial. And I would probably lean more towards the 50s just because of the square shape, which was another stylistic feature of the 50s. These ones here, wraparound style cufflinks, we know are 70s, or maybe late 60s. But again, notice the dual metal look. And also notice, here's something new. Notice this frame. This is called diamond cut. It's like ribbed a little bit, but it makes it so that the metal kind of shines when you tilt it in the light. Now, this type of frame was very prominent on cufflinks, on pendants, on religious medals even. So this is definitely typically 60s, 70s all the way. Here's another one. Here's it's got quite a bit of texture to it, and it's silver and it's got that toggle, bullet toggle, so late 50s, early 60s is my guess on that one. And here we go again with a few things we've learned: the bullet toggle, the silver, and the black. But look at this frame here. This should give it away. 60s, 70s, all the way. So I hope you've learned a little something today. It was my pleasure to share my knowledge with you. If you're interested in any cufflinks, tie bars, any other men's accessories, you can visit our shops. We have an eBay store and an Etsy shop for our vintage offerings. All the links are found below. And I thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comments below. Thanks so much. See you soon.